Thanks, Pete. More and more holiday shoppers this year are using an online currency to buy gifts. This virtual money is called Bitcoin, and it's also attracting more merchants willing to accept it, even some right here in Wisconsin. Just what is it? Fox 11 investigates Bitcoins, and Mark Leland examines the new money tonight at 5 and 9, but joins us this morning with a preview. Hi, Mark.
Good morning, Rachel. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, any currency is really only as good as the value that we give it, and that's what it is for the U.S. dollar, and that's the way it is for Bitcoin. In a relatively short time, Bitcoin has actually attracted hundreds of thousands of believers and a growing number of businesses and companies willing to accept the Bitcoin as cash.
You can purchase video games, gifts, books, servers, and alpaca socks.
That is part of a video designed to educate the public on Bitcoins. The virtual currency certainly isn't the first, but after 4 years it continues to attract new users, and in turn its value continues to rise. Bitcoin started out selling for $10 a Bitcoin, and this year soared to as high as $1,200 a Bitcoin. That has thousands of companies and merchants willing to accept Bitcoin as another source of payment.
It's a pretty cool thing. It's the way people have to use it to legitimize it. You know, the greenback took a long time to legitimize, decades. So the more and more people get a chance to use it and get comfortable for it, I think it could be a new form of currency.
Economists worry it's just another fad that might not end well for investors.
I mean, right now, what is the intrinsic value of a Bitcoin? I mean, this entire thing is being propped up by the fact that there's this sudden demand. I mean, people say, oh, it could be worth 10,000, could be worth 20,000. Well, it also could be worth zero.
It could be worth zero, but this morning Bitcoin is currently trading for $720 a Bitcoin on various online trading sites. Bitcoin supporters say the key is getting more people to use and be willing to accept Bitcoin. That is what is going to make it a lasting currency. Rachel.
Interesting. So where can I use the Bitcoins?
Well, you can use it at several places. We found actually several places in Wisconsin you can use it. Even one company right here in Green Bay that sells gifts, but food, anything, restaurants, some restaurants available. We'll tell you all about where you can find it in Wisconsin tonight at 5 and 9. And by the way, in Germany, I mean, this is a global currency. In Germany, you can pay your taxes with Bitcoin.
Really? Well, we ran a story, I don't know how many weeks ago, but a couple lived off of Bitcoin for a year. I'm like, how did they do that? So what is the advantage of using the Bitcoin over your credit card?
Well, there are several advantages that they tell us about. They say supporters point out that Bitcoins are transferred directly from me to you. So there's no middleman, no bank, no credit card fee that is going to be taken out of that. Sometimes there's some sort of a little transaction, but it's much smaller than the fees that you would normally encounter with places like credit cards companies. Well, there are other advantages as well, but there's also some drawbacks. We look at both sides tonight in our Fox 11 Investigates report.
Yeah, I know in your story you talked about it being a fad. Why do you think it's so big right now?
Well, it goes back to the value that we give it. You know, Bitcoins started out this year. The price at the beginning of the year was $15 a Bitcoin. They skyrocketed up, as we saw in the report, $1,200. It's now $720. But it's that value has more people jumping on board, predicting it's going to continue to rise and go up. The question is right now, is it a commodity or is it actually a currency? And some economists have some questions about that as well.
And Facebook has something similar?
Facebook points. You can buy points on Facebook.
I've seen that.
You have a lot of friends on Facebook. They're always getting you to buy games or different apps.
They try.
They try. Other companies, Amazon this month just came out with Amazon Coins. It's a similar thing, but you can only use that currency on their specific sites. Bitcoin's much broader, and therefore they hope it's more global. And will it become a currency? Will it take over the dollar? Some say yes, some not so sure. Once again, we'll explore it all tonight in our Fox 11 Investigates report.
Interesting. And again, Mark's full report tonight on Fox 11 News at 5 and 9. Thank you.